Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be part 2 of my Makeup Geek eyeshadow collection. And if you haven't seen part 1, I will leave it listed in the description box. But in part 1 I went through all of my matte shadows from Makeup Geek. And today we are going to go through all my shimmery eyeshadows. And she has released 3 sets of foil eyeshadows, so, and I think it was 3 times 10, so she has released 30 foil eyeshadows and I have them all, and then I have 3 of her regular shimmers because I know I just love the foil eyeshadow so much, so I haven't been that attracted to the regular shimmer eyeshadows. Because I really like the foil metallic finish. Okay, so let's get started. I will have all of them in this little small C palette, and I will have them swatched 3 at a time for the most part, and I will just go through their names, but then I will try and do some live swatches as well. Maybe I should just show you them. Here is 28 of the foil eyeshadows, and then I have 2 in here. And then at the top you can see the shimmer shadows, so this is what they look like. Okay, so I'm going to start from the top up here, and here we have Whimsical, Starry-eyed and Spotlight. And Whimsical is a pale sort of shimmer with a pink shift to it, or not shift, it's a very very pale, almost white pink. Starry-eyed is just a bit darker, and then Spotlight is more of your peach shade. So you can see in the swatches that it's very close to my skin tone, so it sort of blends in with my skin tone, but it's a very pretty shade. And I think I will swatch Whimsical for you, so here you have that, and then you can see it's super duper pigmented. And then the next we have Nostalgic, Magic Act and Grandstand. And Nostalgic is sort of like your pale pink, so this is not as pale as Whimsical, but it's still a pale pink. And then we have Magic Act, which is your true gold, and Grandstand, which is a very sort of unique coppery bronzy shade. And this is what that one looks like. You can see it's super pigmented. That is like one tap, almost one tap into the eyeshadow and then just swipe it on my hand. Super pretty shade. And then we have Flamethrower, Untamed and Legend. And these are all very pretty as well. Flamethrower is your standard like coppery shade. And then we have Flamethrower, which is sort of yellow, and Legend, which is sort of like your standard warm bronze. And I will swatch. This is Flamethrower. As you can see, it's super pretty. I will swatch it next to this was Grandstand, right? So you can see the difference, and you can see how pigmented it is. That is like boom. Okay, so that was that for you. And then we have Curtain Call, Showtime and Mesmerized. And Curtain Call is your like red shade, and I was so happy when I knew she was when she said that she was coming up with a red shimmery, like a red foil eyeshadow. But unfortunately it's more of like a cranberry red, and I would have loved to see if it was sort of like a red. But then, as I said, we have Curtain Call, Showtime, where Showtime is sort of like your dark brownish red, and then Mesmerized is more of like a cool tone. And here we have Curtain Call, and I will swatch that next to Flamethrower so you can see the difference. This is Curtain Call and this is Flamethrower. Curtain Call is a lot more red than Flamethrower, so it's preference, what you prefer, but they are similar. They are equal in tone, so they are like equally dark, but they have this one is more copper and this one is more red. And then we have Highwire, Daydreamer and Hype. So now we are moving into more of like the silvers and purples. And as you can see, Highwire is your standard silver shade. Daydreamer is a pale lilac shade, and then Hype is sort of like a, yeah, it's a tiny bit darker lilac shade. And I'm gonna swatch it. So here is Hype. Oh sorry, I took the wrong one. So this is Daydreamer, and there you have Hype. So Hype and Daydreamer. So Daydreamer is your pale lilac shade, and then Hype is sort of like a cool tone purple shade. And then for the next row we have Masquerade, Caitlin Rose, Plot Twist, Center Stage, and Sorcery. So here you have your purples, sort of like a periwinkle shade, and then, or not really periwinkle, but it's more like a purple blue. And then you have your dark blue and your grey. And I'm going to swatch Sorcery for you. So here you have Sorcery. And that is what that one looks like. So it's a grey color. And then for the next row we have Charmed, Fantasy, and Limelight. And as you can see, we are moving into sort of like a greenish silvery shade. And then Fantasy is your sort of mint shade, and Limelight is your very bright green. And if you've seen my product roulette, no, Pando's eyeshadow, sorry. If you have seen that, you have seen this shade before. But those are very pretty as well. And then we have Fortune Teller, Jester, and Take Two. And Fortune Teller is one of her more popular shades. Super pretty. And Jester and Take Two are both green eyeshadows, but Jester is more like a gold green, and Take Two is more of like a dark moss green, maybe. And then we have Epic, which is your true green, with sort of like a shift. Houdini, which is your dark teal, and Pegasus, which is a super pretty turquoise shade. And then for the last row we have the ones that are not foil shadows. So now we have moved into just the regular shimmer shadows. And then we have Rebel, Chit Chat, and Shimma Shimma. And I don't know if you can tell in the picture, but Rebel is a purple with a gold shift to it. And then Chit Chat is sort of like a periwinkle purple, and then we have Shimma Shimma. And these are not at all as like metallic and intense as the foil eyeshadows, but they are still super pretty. Okay, so that was a quick rundown of all the shades in this palette. I think I've made my opinion clear that I really love the foil eyeshadows. As I said, I have all of them. I'm not a huge fan of the shimmery like regular shadows. I would just much rather go with the foil eyeshadows. And I mean, they are all super pigmented, and like I love them all. So it's hard to say that, because when I talked about the mattes, I talked about some of them having sort of like the newer have a slightly different formula, but in this case all of them has the same formula. And I know a lot about talk about like Caitlin Rose, I think it's this one or this one, being not as good as the others, but I mean it's still a really good shadow. I think you could see in the swatches that it still swatches beautifully. And then this one, which is, I think it's Center Stage, it's not really my favorite just because I find the color a bit hard to work with because it's such a dark blue. I would love for her to come out with more of like a cobalt blue, sort of like a bright blue, and also a bright red would be awesome. But yeah, hopefully I think she has like another project that she's working on, another brand. I'm guessing it's clothes or jewelry, I have no idea, but that she will come out with like this year, I believe. And then hopefully maybe she can come back to the eyeshadows and start releasing more of the foil eyeshadows, because we want more. So yeah, that was everything for my swatches. If you have any questions on any of the eyeshadows, let me know down in the comments. And as I said in my part 1, I will be doing a video that is going to be a top 10 Makeup Geek eyeshadows. And for those, I will sort of pick out the top 10 that I think are like most unique or that you should buy. So it won't necessarily be my top 10. There will also be like top 10, because I don't know if my top 10 necessarily would be your top 10 depending on our like color preferences. So I will try to have a little bit of both, like these are the most unique, or these are the best, or these are the ones you should buy, and then sort of mixed with the ones that are my favorites. So yeah, as I said, thank you so much for watching today. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!